Hello viewers, this is your SSK and today we have an interesting story from Chandamama and the name of the story is Son or Daughter. Ram Sharma of Rasipuri had two children, both daughters. He had hoped that at least the second child would be a son. He was dejected and would spend most of his time sitting in a gloomy corner and hesitating to meet people. One day Narayana Shastri of Namagiri came to Rasipuri and stayed with Ramasharma, who confided in him and asked him how he could get over his dejection. Narayana Shastri was more or less in the same boat as Ramasharma. He had two he had two daughters. However, his third child was a son. He explained to Ramasharma how it happened. There's a temple in our place dedicated to Vajreshwara. She is a powerful Vajreshwari. She is a powerful deity. The annual festival comes off at the beginning of the summer season. If one were to offer her newly harvested paddy, it is believed that the devotee will be blessed with whatever he wishes for. But one thing, there should be enough paddy to cover the pathway around the sanctum sanctorium and 10 or 20 men to tread on the paddy 3 times. After taking a dip in the temple tank each time, and as they walk on the paddy, they should wear only wet cloths. If men were to walk on the paddy and the devotee wishes for a son, a male child will be born. If anyone wishes for a female child, then instead of men, 10 to 20 unmarried women should walk on the paddy. In my case, I arranged for men to tread on the paddy. I needed a cartload of it and I got the gift of a son. Ramasharma was overjoyed after all. A cartload of newly harvested paddy and 20 men willing to walk on the paddy wearing wet cloths would not be difficult to arrange for. He waited for the festival and a day before the festival he started for Namagiri. On the way there was an unusually heavy downpour and the road was flooded. The cart carrying paddy could not go forward. Ramasharma decided to halt at the nearest village. The priest of the village was not known to Ramasharma intimately, but when he disclosed that he was unable to proceed to Namagiri, he invited him to stay with him. During their conversation, Ramasharma told him what he was taking him to Namagiri. Look here, my friend, said the village purohit after carefully listening to his guest. We have all studied the scriptures. We should not become slaves to such superstitions. You have two daughters and you now wish to have a son. For that you wanted to propitiate gods and goddesses. How are you certain that the third child would also be not a daughter? Think of your added responsibility then of performing the marriage of one more daughter. Ramasharma did not give him any lengthy reply. He merely said, whoever plants a sapling will also have to wait it to grow. God will is incorruptible, they say. The Purohit merely smiled. A little later, they sat together to eat their dinner when Ramasharma asked the priest, Sir, how many sons have you? How many daughters? Before he replied, the woman came to serve them said, My father has only one daughter, and that's me. I had an elder brother. He was born after my father worshipped all the temples of Vajreshwari and made an offering of paddy, but he died when he was hardly 20. My mother could not bear the grief and she too passed away quite soon. After that, my father took a disciple and taught him the temple rituals and later asked him to marry me. He is now the priest in a temple in the neighboring village. He is like a son to my father, and whatever he brings home is our only income. Ram Sharma felt ashamed. He did not offer his sympathies for the tragedies they had suffered. All of God's creations are equal. There's no difference between male and female, man and woman, but have the same intelligence and same greatness. We worshipped goddesses to giving the same reverence as we give to gods. Lakshmi, Saraswati, Parvati, they are all female forms of divinity. In our country, we don't differentiate between man and woman, so I wouldn't mind even if I get another daughter if that's going to be my fate, and I will look after her like my two elder ones. Anyway, having started for Namagiri, let me make the offering and wait for my blessings. You will surely get a son, said the purohit daughter. There's no doubt about it. The next morning, Ramasharma started for Namagiri. Then he met the priest and assassinated the time when they should make the offering. By then, the 20 men who would help him make the offering had reached the place. Avoiding the flooded roads, once the worship was completed, they all went back to Rasipuri. In course of time, Ram Sharmas gave birth to a twins, a boy and a girl. As they grew up, they were alike in every respect, appearance, behavior, character. He brought them up without discriminating them. They were named Pasupati and Parvati. They were given the same kind of education and were taught temple rituals. Ram Sharma became more prosperous after their birth. The eldest daughter was given in marriage to the sons of Jamindar's family Purohit. The second daughter was married into a rich family. Now he must find a bride and a groom for Pasupati and Parvati. They too grew in the intellectuals. They became famous as poets, twin poets, which was a rare sight. Their poems became widely popular. The Jamindar of the place heard about them and invited them to his darbar. The people assembled were thrilled when they listened to their poetic composition. The way the Jamindar honored and rewarded Pasupati and Parvati could not be appreciated by Pandit in the Darbar. He felt envious of the twin poets. He found an opportunity to quiz them on various subjects, literature, language, science, but Pasupati and Parvati answered him correctly and without getting excited or annoyed with him. The audience frequently cheered them. The Pandit felt irritated by the happiness in the darbar. I can also compose poems like you do, he said and began reciting a few verses, but they were all flattering the Jamindar who could see through the Pandit's motive. The audience too realized his game plan. Oh, most respected Pandit, we see that you are capable of climbing high in imaginations, said the twin poets. The Pandit was happy that the young poets had at least recognized his talents. At the same time, he was bewildered to see the Jamindar as well as audience laughing. He did not know what he had gone wrong. You are simple, Chan, remarked the Jamindar turning to the Pandit. Climbing high in imagination has a double meaning, you fool. You are like a monkey climbing up a palm. He then went on to hand over more gifts to the two young poets. From now on, you both will adorn my darbar, he declared.